Alright, welcome to today's class. My name is Chibuna Joe, your chemistry teacher. Today we are going to be looking at the introduction to what is this? We are going to be looking at the introduction to chemistry, and under this topic we are going to have we'll cover the following: chemistry as a science subject. We'll cover chemistry as a science subject. Then also we have chemistry as a science subject. Chemistry as a science subject. We also have branches of chemistry. Also have applications of chemistry. Then the career prospect in chemistry. And also we'll be looking at the adverse effects of chemistry. So quickly, let's go to chemistry as a science subject. Now, first of all, we are going to ask, what is science? Science is an organized body of knowledge gathered through systematic experimentation. Now, let us underline this word, systematic. I want us to underline this word, systematic. Systematic. Now, what is the meaning of that word, systematic? Systematic means a step-by-step process. Now, scientists employ step-by-step process to solve a problem in the field of science. So when a scientist identify a problem, they now follow a step-by-systematic way. They follow that problem in a systematic way in order to get a conclusion. Now, what is chemistry? Chemistry can be defined as a branch of science which deals with the nature of matter, the structure of matter. Now, it's a branch of science which deals with the what? Nature, structure, also deal with the what? Composition, properties, uses of all forms of matter, and the changes in structure and composition which matter undergoes. Now, I want us to look at these concepts. Chemistry, which focuses on the study of matter in a general view, studies everything about matter. Now, what is matter? Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. Matter is anything that has mass. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. Now, if matter is anything that has mass and occupies space, chemistry is looking at the nature of that matter, the structure of that particular matter. And when we are talking about matter, we are talking about substances around us. We are talking about substances. When we look at materials around us, they are matter. As far as that thing has a mass and occupies a space, it is said to be matter. And that is what chemistry is looking at. Now, chemistry, which probes into the principle governing the changes that matter undergoes, also deals with the composition, properties, and uses of what? Matter. The composition, what are those substances, what are they composed of? What are they made of? What are their properties? Their behavior, what is it like? Their chemical properties, their physical properties, what are they? And how can they be useful in reality? How can they be useful to man? That is what chemistry is looking at. Now, let us now look at some of the chemical changes which matter undergoes include lightening of match, cooking, burning firewood, making palm wine, roasting of nails, rotting of leaves, and others. These are examples of what chemical changes that matter undergoes, and they are also known as chemical reaction. They are also known as chemical reaction. Chemical reaction. All right, now let's quickly look at. Let's continue. Now say that the knowledge of chemistry helps us to subject some matter to chemical changes, thereby producing some materials for our everyday to-day use. These materials include the soap we use to bathe, the detergent, the hair cream that we use to cure hair, all those hair dandruff, hair, to make our hair to look nice, to soften our hair, and also to cure some hair diseases. The perfume, the oil, the margarine. We have margarine and we have plastic and lots more. There are other things that are produced. A lot of things, everything around us are all products of chemistry. The pens, the book we use to write, the marker, the pen, everything around us is all product of chemistry. Now quickly let us look at the branches of chemistry. Now the branches of chemistry, let me clear my screen so that this let me clear my screen so that these things will not be there. All right, so quickly let's look at the branches of chemistry. Now chemistry is divided into three main branches, as we can see here: physical chemistry, inorganic chemistry, and organic chemistry. Now physical chemistry, we say it is a branch of chemistry that deals with the physical aspects of chemistry, like the quantum theory, the heat, and electricity, right? So chemistry, physical chemistry deals with the physical aspects of chemistry. Now, when we're talking about how does temperature affect chemical reaction, how does energy, what's the relationship between chemical reaction and energy, what is the relation between electricity and chemical reaction, all these things boils under physical chemistry. Now we have another branch, the organic chemistry, which deals with the study of carbon and its compound. Now carbon form huge number of compounds or molecules, and these compounds formed by carbon gave rise to the branch known as what? Organic chemistry. And when we are looking at things around us, the plants, the animals, the food we eat, even our body makeups, all are products, all are what? Made of carbon. Our DNA, the protein, the carbohydrates, our testosterone, estrogen, etc., all these are made of carbon. Now the other branch is inorganic chemistry, which deals with the study of elements, their properties, and their uses. We have a lot of inorganic elements. Now all these inorganic elements around us, we have oxygen. A chemist is looking at is looking at oxygen. How is oxygen useful, the properties of oxygen, and how it can be useful to man. That is what inorganic chemistry. Now we have the other branches of chemistry, which include biochemistry, analytical chemistry, environmental chemistry. It is important to note that these branches of chemistry now that we mentioned, all of them boils under these three branches of chemistry. They fall under these three branches of chemistry. One who is studying biochemistry is drawing knowledge from inorganic and organic. One who is doing analytical chemistry is having knowledge of the three branches, and environmental chemistry. We have other branches. We have the medicinal chemistry, we have the forensic chemistry, we have the stereochemistry, etc. All these are other areas of chemistry. All right, let's quickly go to the next, let's move to the next slide. The scientific methods of discoveries. Now, the scientific method here simply is the words. Let me drag this. Now, this is the method used. This is a method used to produce by scientists to produce different material that exist as a result of chemistry. And in the light of this, the scientists use their senses to observe what is happening around us. Now, scientific method, as I've said, is just an approach method employed by scientists to solve problem. When a problem is identified, a scientist should have identified the problem. Then the next thing is, how can we solve the problem to arrive at a conclusion? Alright, so now the scientific method of discovery include the following. As we have seen here, we have the observation, the pattern, the problem. All these are there together. Now, the problem leads to a hypothesis. So, when a scientist identifies a problem or observes the problem with their senses, they now analyze that problem, ask questions. What is this thing? Why is this thing happening this way? Why is it like this? Now, these are questions that need an answer. Those questions may be rhetoric because the scientist is asking the question on his own. So they are rhetoric questions. So it is also left for him to get answers to those questions. And to do that, the scientist will now put forward what we know as hypothesis. Now we say that hypothesis refers to a prediction or guess which explains an observed problem. So when a scientist has identified a problem or observed a problem, he will now put forward an explanation. Now let's take for instance, you enter your room, there is no light, and people around you, your neighbors, they have lights, and there is no light in your own room. So that is a problem. Now, solving that problem in a scientific way, we now say, okay, could it be that I did not on my switch, I did not on the bulb while going out, or could it be I off it? Now, that is a what? Hypothesis. Now, that hypothesis can be tested through experiments. Now, you now go to the wall to now check the switch if it was off or on. Now, if it is off, you now turn it on, and if there is light, it means that your experiment has been proven what? True. And that experiment, which have proven your hypothesis true, now becomes a what? Theory. We now say when the hypothesis has been tested and found to be true within the limits of available evidence, it becomes a theory. Now, that theory has been extensively tested and proven correct without any exception becomes a scientific law. So this is how scientists solve problems, and this method is known as the scientific method. Now quickly, let's look at the applications of chemistry. Now, chemistry is applied in various aspects of our lives. Chemistry is really useful to us, and like I've said before, everything around us are all product or just a product of what? Chemistry. They are all products of what? Chemistry. So chemistry is applied in, or is very useful to us. Now, the knowledge of chemistry can be applied in the following areas in the hospital. Now, the knowledge of chemistry makes it possible for people to involve in chemical research and technology which lead to production of medicine that we use today. So the knowledge of chemistry leads to production of what? Medicine. So it is applied in the hospital. Then also in the military, now we have the manufacture of smokeless powder was based upon gun cotton, which is made from cotton fibers soaked in a strong mixture of nitric acid and sulfuric acid. Now, this chemistry is also applied in military. Now, of course, we know that the work of the military is to protect the society, to protect the state, to protect lives and properties. And they cannot do this without ammunition. Now, chemical research, chemists involving themselves in research come up with what? Different words, armed words, materials, resources that can help those military officers what they will use to secure the lives and property of the state. And we have atomic bomb. We know of that one. Atomic bomb. We know of all those gunpowder. All these things are all products of chemistry. They came as a result of what? Intense research by chemists. Now we have chemical and petrochemical industries. Now application chemists, research chemists, chemical engineers, and laboratory assistants. Now these are the areas where chemistry is also what? Useful in the petrochemical industry. Now what about in the space science? Also chemistry also is involved in space what? Science. In order to gain knowledge about the outside outside planets. The things are now for us to go there cannot be possible without a material or without a device that will enable scientists to travel out. And all these things came as a result of knowledge of what? Chemistry. Now, in the agriculture also, chemistry is also applied. It's also useful. We have agricultural scientists, chemists, biochemists, and physiologists engage in research to improve the quality and yield of crops and livestock and to advise farmers. Now, agricultural scientists now have come up with different varieties of improved breed of crops and animals. Now, these they also come up with, there are a lot of chemicals that can be used to improve the yield of all like fertilizers. Now we have pesticides, insecticides that are used to kill organisms, those insects and pests that may harm our crops. Now also there are improved food or diets for animals. That when you give it to your animals, those livestock, the way they will look well nourished, and when they are presented to the market, they will be sold at a higher price. So these are the application of chemistry. Now, what are the effects of chemicals? Now, one of the effects of chemistry is what? Drug abuse. Now, those things that are being produced, those medicines that are being produced, or some of those medicines which were not meant for raw consumption, have been abused by the society, by the youths of the society, thereby causing what? Problem to themselves. Now, drug abuse is one of the challenge or adverse effects of what? Chemistry. Now, simply involve wrong use. Now, what is drug abuse? Drug abuse simply involve what? Wrong uses of what? Drug. Wrong usage. Now, some of these drugs like cocaine, morphine, etc., they were meant for additives. But unscrupulous people, they ignorantly take it raw, consuming them raw, which is not meant to be. And that is what? Drug abuse. Now, another one is poisoning. Now, in these aspects, let's take for instance, a lot of chemicals are available there that have been used to poison animals, that have been used to poison even human beings. Like, let's take for instance, fishermen now. Some fishermen use chemicals to catch fish. When those chemicals are spread in water, then the animal, the ship there, the fish will now swallow, take in those water, take in the water, and those chemicals will enter into their body and kill them. And when they die, they now those fish is sold to the market. As people are buying those fish poisoned with chemicals, they are what? It is also affecting human health. So poisoning is another adverse effect of chemistry. This is where chemicals are used to poison the food we eat. This happens when the chemicals used as additive, probably as preservative, or they are added more than required, or expired food in the food substances where it was added. Then instead of the food stuff bringing health to our body, it turns to poison. Now, another one is corrosion. Corrosion of iron can also be called rusting, and requires the presence of water and oxygen. Rusting can also be regarded as the slow deterioration of iron, that is iron 2 to iron 3 ion. This iron 3 oxide is permeable to both air and water and cannot protect the iron from further corrosion of iron. Now we have another one, pollution. Chemical industries, through the action of production, pollute our environment as the smoke enters the air and deaths of different kinds enter into the water, thereby polluting the entire environment. Specifically, waste from factories and oil refineries and radioactive waste from nuclear plants pollutes our environment. Oil spillage, exhaust from motor vehicles, pesticides, fertilizers, and acid rain have made our environment unclean and endangered plant and animal life. So pollution is another adverse effect of what? Chemistry. Now some industries now site their plants around water area where some of the chemical waste are now emptied in water. Now those chemical waste that are emptied in water are endangering the aquatic lives, and also due to the nature of fuel produced and oil in the automobiles. Some of these things produce a lot of smoke, which are also harmful or which pollute the environment, and also they are harmful to human health. Now, the human health is also threatened by environmental pollution. Now, presently, chemists are trying to come up with fuel that will reduce the air pollution problem, and they are doing this by modifying chemical processes to recycle chemical waste or change them to harmless products, which can be safely discharged into the environment. Now, let us now quickly look at the career prospect tied to chemistry, which is the last section of this class. Now, career prospect tied to chemistry simply means the job opportunities that are available for the students with knowledge of chemistry. Such students can be employed with private or public sectors, which include teaching service, health service, food processing, petroleum and petrochemical industries, manufacturing industries, extractive industry, agriculture, and forestry. These are the areas where one with knowledge of chemistry can major in. Now let's look at them one after the other. Now in the teaching sector, this has to do with teaching, imparting knowledge. Now one with knowledge of chemistry can teach in the university. We have university lecturers who teach chemistry, College of Education, secondary school teachers that teach your chemistry. Also in the primary school, we have basic science teachers, and in the junior class also basic science teachers. All these things are also what? Career prospects. They are areas where one with the knowledge of chemistry can find himself or herself. Now, in the health sector, we have doctors, we have biochemists, we have medical assistants, etc., that went to the university to study, let's say, any of these chemistry related courses, and at the end of the day, they get employed in the health sector. Now, in the food processing, now one with the knowledge of chemistry, we have we have denticians, we have people that study home economics, food technologies, etc. Now, after their graduation, they can get employed in these sectors. Now, we have in the petrochemical industries. Now, this involves research chemists, chemical engineers, and laboratory assistants that test those petroleum products, that test their viability, their quality, and everything. These people within are found, they are sought for in the petrochemical industry, and they are chemistry related courses. Now, also we have in the extractive industry, we have involved chemists, mining engineers, and geologists. The manufacturing industries, these involve research chemists, chemical engineers in the wide variety of manufacturing such as iron and steel, work and cement factories. Now, we have in the agriculture, we have agricultural scientists, we have biochemists. Their work is to develop, to improve the growth and productivity of plants and livestock. Now, we also have in the forestry, people now engage in the study of forestry work product and how they can be preserved. Forest resources, like all those trees, how they can be preserved and their uses. This is also another area where a chemist can also major in. We have looked at the introduction, we have looked at the meaning of chemistry, and we say that chemistry is a branch of science that deals with the composition, structure, and properties and uses of matter and the changes that matter undergo. And we also look at the branches of chemistry, which we have three major branches: physical chemistry, analytical chemistry, physical chemistry, organic chemistry, and inorganic chemistry. We've also looked at the scientific methods and career prospects and the applications of chemistry. And this will be the evaluation, which is explain how chemistry is applied in the various following areas: food, clothing, transportation, housing. Mention 4 adverse effects of chemicals and how they can be controlled. Mention 10 career opportunities. List 7 other branches of chemistry. Why is chemistry regarded as a science subject? At this juncture, we have come to the end of the class. Your questions are welcomed. Send in your questions, and I promise to give you an answer to all your questions. Thank you.